Check 1 2 1 2. Hey hey hey. Check 1 2. Too much. Check 1 1 2. Check 1 2. Check and press feed. Check 1 1 2. Is that good? Test 1.
I get up and putt first. And of course, after I had to answer all the questions about putting left-handed, you got to go. I get up there and I roll on up the side. I mean, just a hair short. James Paul, who I had maybe known for a couple of months. So they took my ball down. Throws it right in the middle of the pond. Looked at me and said, "This is a scramble. You don't ever leave it on short." You know what I said? "Yes, sir." He's a big guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is Sean playing with you?
No, I think he was going to do it.
Oh, I thought he was okay. No, I thought that's what you had said.
There's our ringer.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
Okay?
I think
Larry, I'm good. Now, Larry's not going to remember me, but I'm going to
Me?
Yes. One of those clawed out
Yeah.
bone scrambles that you use down on those.
Yeah.
You played them.
I did.
I played them, sit me up in the eighth hole is a really short pond. You can see the green. I rolled my drive between your legs. And I yelled,
That was
"I'm
Derek
sorry."
Ford.
I yelled, "I'm sorry." Macy's laughing his butt off. I didn't know I did it. Must have hit a rock or something.
Well, that's good. We're going to need him today.
Oh,
I was playing up to 20 years ago. I was playing with Shelby's over there. Strange that it's like 304 yard up par 4.
Wasn't Jamie home?
My Kyle story is I barely got there in time to tee off. I go running up there here. My friend here has told Kyle to go to golf. So my first swing jumping out of the car, I got 5 on it. I did maybe 20 yards. Kyle looked over at Larry and I know what was on there.
I do
What
remember
did
that.
you set me up with?
Now, if they've been on like a celebrity tennis tournament.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's a good thing. One year I had Ryan. Second shot to the roof.
What year you heavy doing putting?
Ryan had to hit the shots over the wall. I think every shot was two.
Dope. I had laughed the whole time. I was listening to him coming in. He's telling apparently over the weekend.
I heard that.
He got 2 puppies for his boys, and they went somewhere for the weekend and put the dogs in the garage. They see the fans and water on it. Put a new name on the dog park and decided they were really cool and called animal control. And apparently Amanda, she got home. She parked in front of the neighborhood, banged on the door for the weekend. And as Ryan said, it went 606 on it. Just to make sense. Yeah.
My brother-in-law got asked to
About halfway through. Brian and we'll ask that everybody get seated. Seated. Oh, test, test, test.
Take this seat and I'll take this one.
Yep, that's fine. Yep.
Great.
All right, are we live? There we go. We'll ask everybody to fill in and have a seat, especially our media, if you will. Come on up, grab a spot, and we'll get started here momentarily. All right, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody good? All right. Good morning and welcome to Champions here at Keene Trace, our first official media day of the Barbasol Championship here in the Bluegrass. I'm Brooks Downing, president of BD Global and executive director of the Barbasol Championship. A little over 7 months ago, we announced this grand event, and today we hit our go button. We're just 45 days away from first round action, and there's still much to be done. But today we wanted to invite our regional media to Central Kentucky, tell you about what we've done to the course, trumpet our first 3 major sponsors, announce our major charitable initiative, and lay out our event schedule, as well as introduce a few of our sponsor exemptions that we have chosen today. Before I introduce our guests, let me start with a little State of the Barbasol Tournament address. This has not been a kind winter, or as we began to call it, sprinter, to make major preparations to this golf course. Over the past 8 months, the Keene Trace staff, led by Superintendent Carl Gray and his team, have been hard at work renovating this course and elevating its playability and condition. Under the close supervision of the PGA Tour's agronomy and course design team, some of the changes have included removal of more than 300 trees, which greatly aids in the health of the course with airflow and sunlight. They've renovated all the bunkers on the course to ensure proper drainage. They've enlarged the tee boxes on number 1 and number 10. We've said this before, but we are flipping the 9, so behind us, this par 3 will be our finishing hole. So number 1 and number 10 on either side of the practice tee box. We've added new tee boxes on holes number 2, 13, 16, and 17. We'll have a new yardage book designed here later this month, and an exact measurement on length will be available at that time, but our own estimates are that the course, which has been playing just over 7,000 yards, will now be playing almost 7,300 yards. That places it on the average of the tour, which is right at 7,280. So nice additions to the length here at Champions. We've renovated the pond banks around the lake. Behind us on number 17 and 18, while turning a small catch pond down by the green at the front entrance, number 14, into a creek. One of our biggest endeavors is to construct a bus depot off Delaney Ferry, which is just on past the main entrance of the course, which will serve as our main entry point for our fans. That work is under construction today as we speak. We have had our good friends at D.H. Elliott here in Lexington install poles for the netting at the end of the driving range for the big hitters. Quick fun fact, the PGA Tour provided our specs. They use a little shot tracker technology, and they gauge the height needed by the poles and netting on the flight of the J.B. Holmes golf ball. His is higher than anyone else's on tour, so that's how they determined our height that was needed at the back of the range. And finally, there's construction about to commence on a few trouble spots out on our country road here at Delaney Ferry. Many thanks to the State Transportation Office for its investment to get this done. So that should be taking place here very soon. Tip of the hat to our club ownership, Evan Mossbarger and B. Fry, for making the necessary investments to the course. Those changes were not all cosmetic, as we've talked about. They've tripled the amount of equipment here at the course and more than doubled the amount of staff working in our maintenance department. These changes not only bring this course up to the standards set by the tour and its agronomy team, but it elevates Champions to a level where I truly believe it'll be the second best course in the state to Valhalla. This course is quickly becoming a bluegrass real estate gem. Our build out of all our hospitality structures and other needs for the tournament, all of our temporary structures will begin next Monday. This is all of our structures across the golf course. We have a very unique aspect for our course, and we've talked about it before with this par 3 behind us being our number 18 hole. A lot of our hospitality venues will have views of 3 greens. Nowhere else on tour do you have such a good setup than here. And you talk about 17, 9, and 18. It'll be a great experience for our fans. A tip of the hat to Tom Halbrin, the original designer and developer of this course, who's with us here today. This is where our heart of the tournament will be. The clubhouse, 17 and 18. You just won't recognize this place when we get to July. I owe a big thanks to Keeneland. One of my first calls as we started our event planning went to Vince Gabbard. Given all their experiences with the Breeders' Cup, Vince and his team have been a huge resource in planning for this event. No reason to reinvent the wheel when you have such experts nearby. I would also like to give special thanks to County Judge David West here in Jessamine County and our law enforcement committee that includes the Kentucky State Police, both Jessamine County Sheriff and Nicholasville Police, Lexington Metro Police, Fayette County Sheriff, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, and the FBI. We've had more law enforcement meetings than any other. Lots of traffic discussions nonetheless. Now, that's our update on the course. Got a few special announcements today. So securing a PGA Tour event for our community has been an unbelievable experience. But the thing that really gets us excited is the impact this event can make here locally. PGA Tour events are designed to be charity events and give back to the local communities. You heard the stat in October that the PGA Tour and its events gave more to charity than the other 4 major sports combined. The Barbasol Championship has a plan to make a major impact across Kentucky. Here to talk about this initiative is Scott Fitzpatrick, Vice President of Advancement with the Bluegrass Community Foundation. Scott?
I must say I was a little disappointed. When Brooks first called me about this, I figured I was getting one of those tour exemptions. And so, but anyway, I'm excited to talk about this as well. Birdies for the Bluegrass is a fun and exciting way to support the great work of nonprofit organizations throughout the Commonwealth by connecting charitable giving to the success of the incredible athletes participating in the Barbasol Championship. Beginning immediately, everyone can go online to birdiesforthebluegrass.com and pledge their support for one or more of over 165 charitable causes across Kentucky. Donors commit to contribute a specific amount for every birdie made by a PGA Tour professional during the tournament. And to make things even more exciting, the Barbasol Championship will add 10% to every gift, up to the first $1.7 million in commitments. The bottom line, the lower the scores, the greater the impact on the Kentucky nonprofit community. In addition, donors can guess the number of birdies that will be made during the Barbasol Championship to be eligible to win a 2-year lease on a new Lexus ES350, the same Lexus that's manufactured at the Toyota plant in Georgetown, courtesy of Lexus of Lexington. For more than 50 years, Bluegrass Community Foundation has focused on making our communities the most generous, vibrant, and engaged they can be. We believe Birdies for the Bluegrass can be an impactful reflection of this mission, and we are thrilled to administer this initiative as the official philanthropic partner of the Barbasol Championship. Thank you.
Scott will not only add you to the list of sponsor exemption requests, because we've had a few, but we want to thank you for managing this project for us, you and your team at the Bluegrass Community Foundation. Very important endeavor that we take on. This is what this tournament is all about. It'll have a great fan experience. It'll have an unbelievable impact for our state and our community, but the impact that it has through the charitable giving is our biggest goal and objective. Just to put it in perspective, the John Deere tournament, which is the week before ours, in a community a little bit smaller than ours up in Quad Cities, Illinois. This past year alone, $12 million through a program like this. Now, having said that, that is a mature event. It has been doing it and doing it very well, and they keep growing it year over year. We just want to have a little bit of that same success, and that's the impact it can have for our communities across Kentucky. So looking forward to making this a hugely successful event and getting people involved, and who knows, you might win a new Lexus. This tournament's success hinges also on the support from our local community. We already have a great title sponsor in Barbasol, and many thanks to its teams for all of its hard work as we continue to prepare for the move to Lexington. Our partner in this event since day one that we secured this tournament has been the Bluegrass Sports Commission. Here to introduce 3 new corporate sponsors and give us an update is President of the Bluegrass Sports Commission, Brian Miller.
Thanks, Brooks. In 6 weeks, Kentucky will be hosting its first regular PGA Tour event since 1958. Clearly, we're very excited, and it's in large part to the people like Brooks Downing, Scott Fitzpatrick, and countless others in this community who have gone above and beyond to make this event a success in its first years in Lexington. I'd like to thank the Keene Trace staff and membership. I'd like to thank the staff at BD Global. And I'd like to thank my staff and our board at the Bluegrass Sports Commission, many of whom are here today. All saw the vision and have worked with great enthusiasm to make this event a reality. As we set out to bring the Barbasol Championship to Kentucky, we knew the success of the event was going to depend on the support of this corporate community. And like this community does, it has stepped up in a big way. First, we went out and we secured media partnerships from folks like Lamar, WLEX-18, LM Communications, iHeartRadio, Kentucky Sports Radio, and Spectrum. All have combined to provide more than $1 million of promotional support for this event. I'd like to thank those media partners for their support of the Barbasol Championship. As Brooks mentioned, we have a great title sponsor in Barbasol. Barbasol is one of America's most iconic brands, with 1 in 4 men using their product. Their national headquarters is located just a few hours away from here in Dublin, Ohio, and we love the relationship with Tom Murray and his team. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't see a billboard, see or hear an ad, or see someone in this community wearing Barbasol Championship merchandise. Our title sponsor will have a beautiful 80-person chalet behind me on the 18th green, will be well represented with signage around the course, and be featured prominently on the Golf Channel's television broadcast, which will air in nearly 80 million U.S. households and in over 220 countries around the world. In addition to our title sponsor, the University of Kentucky and UK Healthcare have stepped up in a major way. Initial conversations with UK Healthcare's Chief External Affairs Officer Rob Edwards and Director of Brand Strategy Julie Baylog has led to a true partnership that is unlike most corporate sponsorships I've been a part of. They are a true stakeholder in this event. They have engaged the university faculty, staff, and students to support the event and will administer and manage all of our medical needs and services for both players and spectators. They will be providing numerous assets for the fan experience and again have been incredible partners. There is not a day that goes by that Lori Wilson doesn't reach out with a new idea, suggestion, or just ask how she can help. I'd like to say it's because Lori's a wonderful and nice person, which she is, but a lot of what we're doing from a charity angle is supporting Kentucky Children's Hospital. Here today, Dr. Scotty Day, Physician-in-Chief of the Kentucky Children's Hospital, and Bo Cofield, Vice President and Chief Clinical Operations Officer for UK Healthcare, are here, and these guys are my heroes. The work they do for our kids is amazing and inspiring. On Wednesday of event week, UK Healthcare at the Children's Hospital will be hosting a miniature golf pro-am. This will include 9 PGA pros, UK coaches, including Coach Calipari and Coach Stoops, and all of this will raise money and awareness for the Kentucky Children's Hospital. The Tuesday night prior, in conjunction with iHeartMedia, we'll be hosting a special acoustic jam concert featuring national Nashville acts like Billy Currington, Jordan Davis, David Lee Murphy, Chris Lane, Maddie and Tay, and Travis Denning at the Opera House, where monies raised from that event will support Kentucky Children's Hospital. And of course, as Scott said, Kentucky Children's Hospital and its affiliates, partners, will be featured as preferred charities as part of the Birdies for the Bluegrass campaign. The PGA touts the fact that in their 49 events last year, they gave $166 million to a charity. We believe this partnership can and will be another great success story for the University of Kentucky, UK Healthcare, the PGA, and of course the Barbasol Championship. Another strong local sponsorship who has emerged for this event is Lexmark. Lexmark is certainly a familiar name here in town, but did you know they are deeply connected with Championship Golf? Lexmark has been supporting the PGA of America and its PGA Championship and Ryder Cup events for more than a decade. Its designation will be the same here as it is at those events as the official imaging and printing solutions provider for the tournament. Lexmark's team will fully outfit our media center and other key places around the course to take care of our printing and communication needs. In addition, they'll print a lot of our signage, sponsor our autograph zone, and provide a one-of-a-kind fan experience area. Thanks to Cherise Hurst and her team for lending us their expertise and providing wow moments. And our third major supporter we're announcing today is one that has deep ties to the BD Global team and understands the legacy this event will have on this community. Lexus of Lexington is on board as our official luxury vehicle of the tournament. We all know the impact that Toyota makes here in central Kentucky, but now the Lexus ES line is manufactured in Georgetown as well. I want to thank Rick Avar and Kelly Nally for their support, and we're excited to do some special things together through this tournament. Lexus of Lexington will be giving away a 2-year lease as the grand prize of our Birdies for the Bluegrass program. We'll have an 80-person chalet on the 18th green, and we'll loan the tournament over 150 courtesy cars to be used for PGA players and officials coming in on tournament week. One of my favorite quotes is an old African proverb. It says that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I love that Kentucky has stepped up and embraced this event from a corporate and community standpoint. Our team set out after the announcement just 7 months ago and has secured several $1 million in sponsorship and trade revenue. A few other official partnerships to announce. Coca-Cola will be our official pouring rights partner. Kentucky Eagle is all in, promoting Michelob Ultra as our official beer, and a build-out with natural light in the Natty Shack, featured on the 11th hole. Grey Goose will be our official vodka and have an exclusive 19th hole vodka bar located on the 9th green, which will be open to the public and feature our signature drink. Bluegrass Hospitality Group will promote their family of restaurants and have an 80-person outpost, 40-person chalet on 18. Nine Iron Wines is our official wine of the Barbasol Championship and will support our Patriot. Thank you, Kentucky, for buying tickets and supporting one of our state's only professional sporting events. And for those that have not yet bought their tickets or gotten involved, I promise this is an event you won't want to miss. Thank you.
Wow, sounds like a party. Grey Goose, Anheuser-Busch and Budweiser, Mick Ultra. It will be. If we get this right, if Brian and our team get this right, we'll be asking who invited all these golfers to our party. All right, so we've got event week. Well, our next guests make it up here. The event week obviously is July 16th through the 22nd. On that Monday, the course will be closed to the public but open to the media as players arrive. The course will be open Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday is practice rounds. Wednesday will be our pro-ams. Admission for those 2 days is free. On Tuesday, we'll be playing host, as Brian said, to our Executive Women's Day presented by Merrill Lynch. We'll announce the full schedule for that event, including our featured speakers, and it'll be held here at Champions. That afternoon on Tuesday as well, we'll be staging a shooting pro-am at the Bluegrass Sportsman's Club here in Jessamine County called Pars and Pigeons. 18 foursomes, 18 stations for clay shooting, a golf pro or a veteran in each group, and the event will benefit Kentucky Wounded Heroes, which includes both military veterans and first responders. A real big initiative of ours. Brian touched on it. We're looking to have a military outpost set up. Free Military Day on Thursday for all former and current and active military and first responders. So we look forward to entertaining both of those groups and those folks that are involved and have been given really a lot of their life and time to protect us both home and abroad. On Wednesday, we'll have our Pro-Am all day here at the course. Again, admission is free. If you recall, the British Open is the same weekend as our event. It's customary that they battle for the Claret Jug, one of the most sought-after trophies in all of sport. Our Pro-Am that day will have a little fun with that. Might be a battle for the Clarence Jug. So we'll have a little bourbon theme going on that afternoon, and we'll have a little fun with that initiative. Thursday will be round one. It's our Heroes Day, as we talked about, for active and retired military first responders. Registration is required for these free tickets, but we're excited to welcome all these local heroes to the tournament. We'll have discounted tickets to all military for the rest of the weekend. One of the most, and then lastly, we will have live entertainment each night here at the course once the last putt drops. So it'll be a day-long affair that starts early. Gates open at 7:30 each day of the 4 tournament rounds. Now, one of the most sought after and what can be life-changing opportunities in golf is a sponsor's exemption. There are typically a handful of these that go around and are designated by the lead sponsor or the tournament. And why are they important? A great effort can earn you a status on the tour. A win can make you exempt on the tour for the next 2 years. We've had more than 24 requests every day. There's a request that rolls in from a college senior, college All-American, a young pro, a middle-aged pro, you name it. Even our Bluegrass Community Foundation would like a request. But for all that, and for all those that follow us on social media, you will know that Lexington's own Josh Teeter, who you'll hear from here before the end of the morning is done, has received one of our selections. Over the weekend, news broke that Barbasol, our title sponsor, has awarded one of its exemptions to Brittany Lincecum, who is a brand ambassador for Barbasol's Pure Silk brand. I can officially confirm that, in fact, she will be playing here in July. The LPGA star, yes. The LPGA star couldn't be with us today. She just finished up the Women's U.S. Open yesterday and had to be in Florida this morning. But she currently ranks 16th on the tour's money list after her top 25 finish yesterday in the Women's Open, and is known to be one of the longest hitters on the Women's Tour. We cannot wait to welcome her to Central Kentucky. She becomes just the 6th woman to ever compete in a PGA Tour event and the first since Michelle Wie in 2008. Today we award 2 more sponsor exemptions. Joining me here on stage is Coach Brian Craig of the University of Kentucky men's golf team, along with 2 of his recent grads and star players from his 2018 NCAA championship team, Chip McDaniel and Cooper Musselman. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you, Brooks.
When we began our pursuit to bring professional golf back to the Bluegrass, Evan Mossbarger invited myself, Coach Craig, Bruce Drake, Sheila Bays, we sat right over here in the office and talked about how to market a golf course. So, Coach, you've been with us since day one, and given UK Healthcare's interest in becoming our second biggest sponsor of this tournament and their involvement of the entire campus in that initiative, it only made sense that I reach out to you and offer up a sponsor exemption to your team, and we want to make that every year to have one of your players in this event. And he had two outstanding young men this year, and he said, I like the plan, Brooks, I want two of them. And so, yes, we agreed for two guys, and we couldn't have two better young men. Coach, just tell us from your perspective, what's it like for an opportunity for your guys to have a chance to play in a PGA Tour event in this hometown?
Yeah, well, it's a huge deal, Brooks. And when you first called me and said we're close to getting the Barbasol into Lexington, the champions, selfishly I was hoping that you would be able to do something like this, but obviously I didn't broach that at the beginning. You brought it up to me eventually as this all went on. But for these guys, for Chip and Coop here, to be able to play in a tour event, they're both just graduated. They both had great careers. They get to start their PGA Tour career debut here in an area that they're familiar with, an area that they love, with all the people here that they know and support them. You couldn't have a better beginning of their professional careers. It's huge.
It's got to be great, too, for your program to be home in the same hometown, is it not, that a PGA Tour event has now landed?
It's fantastic, and I appreciate you saying that about a player every year, because I can recruit with that now, right?
Absolutely.
Because I need to find more of these guys. These guys provide me with job security, and I appreciate that. So that's awesome, and this tournament I think is going to be a home run. I think the community is going to support it. I hope you guys will all come support our local players like this. They're both Kentuckians. They bleed blue. They love the whole state, and it's going to be an honor for them to play.
Well, let's meet these guys. Our first senior is a reigning, you stay here, Coach, just in case for a minute. Our first senior is a reigning Kentucky Open winner on my far left. He carries one of the most prestigious names in all of Kentucky golf. From the hometown of the current #1 player in all of golf, I guess you could say, with Justin Thomas. But please welcome Cooper Musselman. Cooper, welcome to the Barbasol. Cooper, what's it mean for you to have this opportunity?
It's truly unbelievable to be here. I can't think of a better way to start my professional career, and I'm truly blessed to just get to know you all and be in this great state of Kentucky.
Now, what will you do? You just finished up the NCAA tournament just a week ago. What's your schedule between now and then as you turn pro?
Well, this is going to be my first professional tournament, this one, so I'm going to play in 2 amateur events. One's up in Pennsylvania in the next couple of weeks, and then my last amateur event will be the North-South Amateur down in Pinehurst.
Well, good. Well, we welcome you here and wish you all the best on that weekend, okay?
Thank you, Brooks.
Our other senior made one of the biggest shots in all of Kentucky golf history, I guess you would say. Is that fair enough?
Correct.
Hold out for eagle on the 18th hole of the NCAA Regional to send the Wildcats to the NCAA Championship. He's the reigning Kentucky Amateur Champion from Clay County, Chip McDaniel. Chip? Now, we made the offer to you in the spring, both of you guys, and we did it separately. It was kind of neat how we went about it. And much like Cooper, you were in disbelief. Are you starting to believe it now?
Yeah.
Tell us about the shot. We all want to hear about the shot on 18 2 weeks ago.
Well, lost in all the hype. I think the drive was actually a better shot. It was a tough drive, and I hit it around the corner over a bunker and kind of hit the speed slot, and it went 330 yards. I had one of the shortest shots in probably of anybody in the week, and then the coach comes up in the fairway, and he's trying to play it cool, like just keep doing what you're doing, and I'm just like, Coach, don't bullcrap me, man. What do we need? And he was like, all right, par gets us through. I said, all right. And the rest is history.
Can I tell the story how it really happened, Brooks? Is that all right?
Please.
All right, so we were actually 10 shots back going into the last day, and we were 5 shots back with 2 holes left. And Cooper was playing phenomenal. He was out. He was in front of Chip. He was playing great and leading the way. And then another SEC team had a player have a hiccup. So all of a sudden we're tied. And then all of a sudden we're 1 up, and they're finished. And so I come out to the fairway to Chip. He'd actually made a 20-footer for par on 17 to keep us 1 up. And he had a great drive, like he said. And I haven't talked to him all day because I was walking out front. And I just walked up to him and I said, everything's cool. Just keep playing. And he looked me right in the eye and he said, Coach, I don't want any bullshit. Where do we stand? Excuse the language, but that's kind of what happened. And I said, we're one shot up. And he said, Par gets us through? And I said, yes. And he said, okay. And I patted him on the backside, and I walked off, and I was standing in the rough with Judge Tim Philpott, our volunteer assistant, and he made it from 118 yards. It was awesome. It was so good. Yeah, thank you.
What's it mean for you to have an opportunity like this early in your career?
I mean, it just means the world, you know. I grew up a Kentucky fan, and pretty much everybody where I'm from is. And to open up in a town that I love, in an area that I love, in front of people that I love, it just means the world. I love this golf course. I love this place, and I love UK.
Well, we're so excited that the University of Kentucky will be well represented here at the tournament, and that both of you are turning pro at our event. I'll ask you two to stay, and I'm going to bring up the old man, if he's still around, can handle it. There. Our last guest needs no introduction. A Lexington native, Henry Clay grad, and former player at Morehead State. He has earned more than $4.5 million on the PGA Tour. He was runner-up last week on the Web.com Tour down in Nashville, and yesterday had a top 6 finish, going 6 under on the final round, and is in position to earn his PGA Tour card next season if his stellar play continues. That's to get that PGA Tour card back.
Correct.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Teeter. Josh, for you to have a PGA Tour event in your own hometown, what's that mean?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I don't think it's something I ever thought might happen. You know, obviously growing up in the, you know, Champions Tour or Bank One Classic, being here, kind of having that in my mind, you know, never really thinking that, hey, a PGA Tour event could come here. Maybe thinking a Web.com Tour event could, but, you know, to know that, you know, some of the best players in the world are going to be here in a couple weeks is pretty awesome.
What can the fans expect to see out here those 4 days?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to see guys that you never heard of, that are young, that are up and coming, that are rookies on the PGA Tour or second or third year players. They got all the game in the world that are going to win tournaments. And then you're going to have, you know, some guys that maybe have struggled in their career, kind of gone back and forth, and they're trying to get back, you know, to where they want to be. And then you've got, you know, like you said, past major champions like Davis Love, potentially. He played last year in this event. David Toms, Angel Cabrera. So it's a whole range of guys, plus, you know, young guys like Chip and Cooper that are getting their careers started.
Quite a mix, quite a mix. Now, when you talk about Chip and Cooper, you were in their seats at one point in time.
What advice? It doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but I guess it probably was.
What advice would you give these guys?
You know, I think, number one, you know, have a plan with what you want to do. Have a good support system around you. You know, number one being Coach Craig and, you know, people that you can trust and lean on. And, you know, there's going to be valleys, there's going to be highs. So just try to stay level. And I wouldn't put too much pressure on yourself coming into this event. Just enjoy it, have fun, and play like you know you can. Yeah.
Now, got to ask you too, Josh. You've been around the game now for a few years, and you heard our news this week with Brittany Lincecum receiving a sponsor exemption from Barbasol. What are your thoughts on her playing in this field?
Yeah, you know, I was on the putting green on Saturday morning, or maybe yesterday morning. One of the players in Raleigh came up and said, "Are you playing in the Barbasol?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "I heard they gave Brittany Lincecum a spot," and I was like, I hadn't heard of that, but. Obviously, I think she's a great player. She's going to come in here prepared like all the other players, and you know, try to do her best like we all will. And you know, looking forward to walking the fairways with her.
Absolutely, it should be. Adds quite a storyline to our tournament. One other player that'll be playing, not on a sponsor exemption, but that many of you are familiar with, is Grover Justice. Grover is Kentucky. The Kentucky section receives a spot that it can provide within the tournament from the PGA Tour, and they decided to go with their Player of the Year, which was Grover Justice here in Lexington. Great article on our website, barbasolchampionshipky.com, about Grover and how he is the very first name in the field as a local qualifier. So I don't know if Grover made it over with us today, but looking forward to having Grover as part of the field. So at this point, before we go any further, I ask our media, we'll open it up for them to ask some questions of our three designated guests here, and then we'll wrap it up and you can grab some one-on-ones. Yes, Larry Vaught.
Hey, Josh, I was wondering if there's any chance you might have Rich Brooks come into caddy for you or anything for this event.
That would be great. You know, I actually have thought about potentially reaching out to him, seeing if he can make it in for that week for like the Pro-Am or something of that nature. I haven't talked to Brooks about that yet, but you know how he's traveling. He's winning at retirement, so he may not be able to get free.
We are looking at having a celebrity team on our Pro-Am, and he is, Coach Brooks is on our short list, so I was going to talk to you about that as well afterwards. Any other questions from our media?
For those of you who played this course, reversing the nines, what impact is that going to have? Does that open anything up for you or make it harder?
You guys want?
I mean, 18, the normal 18 is a tough finishing hole. So, you know, for guys coming in down the stretch on Sunday, I think it makes it a little bit easier. But, you know, it also could make it more exciting with a par 5, par 3 finish. So I like it personally.
Cooper?
I also like it. I think it's I guess this hole right here, which is number 9 right now, but it's going to be number 18. I think it's a tremendous finishing hole. You can pretty much view it from pretty much all around the clubhouse, and I think it's great.
Josh?
Yeah, I don't think the routing of the holes really makes any difference. You know, we're going to play them all at some point, but like they're saying, you know, with a potential eagle on 17 and, you know, who knows, maybe a hole-in-one on 18 to finish could happen. So I think it'll be exciting, which is, I think, what we're looking for.
Josh, what does it mean for the PGA Tour and have played on the tour to have an event like Kentucky?
I mean, I think it means everything, you know. Obviously, we've had a few in Louisville, some big events, but to be here in Lexington, I think is even bigger, obviously, for this area. And these guys, I think, are going to come in town. They're going to enjoy the area and the golf course and just have a great week.
Josh, for fans that you said may not recognize some of the young names and all, how much would you encourage them to come at them? How much should they look for when they're out here? What's the best they want to come to you?
That's a good question. I mean, obviously you can get on the website and probably see the field of the tournament. You know, you got guys that were on the web.com tour last year and earned their PGA Tour card and are rookies or, you know, second or third year players that maybe are close to keeping their card already this season or have, or, you know, this is a huge opportunity for them if they're playing a good season to get that victory, to, you know, have a 2-year exemption coming in, you know, for the next few years. But if you follow golf pretty closely, I think you'll know, you know, some of the young names that are coming in.
Matt?
Josh, 2 questions. The course defenses that you think will be up that week, is it the heat, is it the rough, is it the speed, is it the wind? What is this course going to provide for these players?
Well, I haven't really played here that much in the past few years, but I did come through town about 6 weeks ago and drove the course and saw some of the additions with the tee boxes to add a little bit of length. But I think what I saw that day was the rough. I mean, it was pretty healthy. I think the winter that you were talking about has helped grow that rough up pretty good. That plus it's just going to depend on how firm the greens are. You know, if we get a week where there's not a lot of thunderstorms and rain, I think you're going to have to be in the fairway to attack the greens. But if they're soft, you can kind of come at them from a lot of places with short clubs. But there is some slope. You know, Cooper and I were just talking like what's going to be 1, 2, and 3. All 3 of those greens have a lot of slope on them. So if you're not in the right spots, you could have some trouble, you know, getting it down.
The second part, and this is for all of you, when we follow golf week to week, we always get sort of a home field advantage for players that are local. But sometimes it can be a disadvantage because it is local, and there is that added spotlight and pressure. What do you think about that from the Kentucky feel it's going to be easier or more comfort or not?
Chip?
You know, I'm not really thinking about that. I think it's going to be really cool to have people that you know and love supporting you, and I think it will only help with the golf course.
Cooper?
I mean, I think it's going to be an advantage. I'm going to get to sleep in my own bed at night, which is pretty good. Yeah, and then I'll have people follow me that don't really normally get to see me because they don't travel. So I'm looking forward to that, and I think it's just going to be a really fun week.
And I think, like you said, this goes way back, but when the Kentucky Open was at Greenbrier, where I grew up playing, it was a disadvantage, I feel like, because the golf course played way faster, the greens were way firmer than I'd ever seen them. Certain holes that you'd hit 4-iron off the tee, you now had to hit 6-iron off the tee so it wouldn't go in the water. So I think things like that can be a disadvantage, but other stuff, you know, off the course, I don't think any of that's really a disadvantage. That can only be beneficial.
Larry?
Go back to par to 18 to par 3. It's a little unusual to have a par 3 as a finishing hole. How does that change strategy down the stretch as a player, knowing the last hole is a par 3, it's a birdie opportunity? Because it's different, does it change the strategy, the way you think through the course?
Cooper, you want to start?
Yeah, sure. I don't think it changes the strategy a whole lot. When you're playing, you're just kind of thinking one shot at a time. And once you get down to that 18th hole, you're just going to be focused on hitting a good shot and hopefully making the next putt.
Chip?
Yeah, I mean, it's a par 3. You only have to hit one shot in there. You don't have to hit a drive. So, I mean, if you get a good number, you can attack. And I think it'll be really exciting. And like Josh said, you might see a 1.
Is it less stressful knowing it's just one shot into the green?
Not much at all. Maybe slightly for certain players, but, you know, like Cooper said, I don't think it's much different.
And the tournament setup, the rules officials discussed enlarging the back tee to play it at 215, 220 on that hole. And instead, we talked about the entertainment value of keeping it on the next to last tee at about 185 yards. What does that mean, Josh?
Yeah, I think that's huge. I mean, I think you look at Eastlake, which they flipped the 9s here recently for the Tour Championship in Atlanta. And for years, the last hole was a 230-yard par 3. And, like, sure, you might see some guy make a bogey to fall out of contention or to not win, but I think this hole being a mid iron probably, you're going to see plenty of 2s, and I don't think it changes strategy very much at all.
As a tribute to the 3 cards at Rupp, we're planning 2 cards on 18. Any other questions, Larry?
Chip, there's been other guys out of Clay County with some big shots in the past. What was kind of the reaction in Clay County to your pullout on 18?
Well, they loved it. My Twitter was blowing up. I know that.
All of Clay County should be here.
Yeah.
Any other questions? All right, we'll let you guys grab a few housekeeping items. Tickets are now on sale through Ticketmaster. We have daily grounds, week-long passes, upgraded hospitality tickets for our Man of War paddock available. We also want to make it easy as possible on fans getting here to the course. Reminder, all general parking will be at Keeneland. Parking passes are also available to purchase at BarbasolChampionshipKY.com. We're still looking for additional support from our local business community. It's not too late to sign up for a suite or chalet or other hospitality offerings. One great way is to play in our Pro-Am. It's the only sport where you get to play with a pro before he plays. You don't get to shoot jumpers with LeBron the day before, but you can play golf with Josh all day long the day before. Also, finally, you can never put an event on of this magnitude without the help of our local volunteers. To date, we have almost 600 volunteers that have signed up, paid the $75, gets a hat, gets a shirt, gets your meals, gets a round of golf here at the course. It's a ton of value back, and it helps us keep this a charitable initiative. We need 1,200. We're halfway there. We need 600 more volunteers, so the big push is on now to go to our website, sign up, and if you want to see golf, we're only asking for 3 or 4 sessions during the week to work for 3 or 4 hours. It's a great experience. It puts you up close, and it's key to making these things successful. And then you have the rest of the day to watch golf here as well as a fan. So wide-ranging committees such as Walking Score, Marshall, working with Golf Channel. Lots of fun things to do. Again, full tournament info available at barbasolchampionship.com, and we can be found on social media at barbasolchampky. Before we conclude, let me introduce our full-time staff in the back. We've got John Allball, Catherine Clifton, Josh Franklin, Brad Hicks, and Vanessa Taylor. Tip of the hat to you guys for helping me make this work. Brian Miller and his team. Brian pointed them out earlier. What a great partnership. Love it with the Sports Commission. David Bertram, the chairperson. Thanks for all you guys are doing. Lastly, if any of our media needs photos or video of any of our changes on the course, we've got Josh Franklin right here. Get with Josh afterwards. He'll get you a cart path and an escort, take you out, and get you some shots of it very quickly if that fits into your schedule. And so now we invite all of you to have lunch with us inside on us. Doesn't happen often. Not since the C.M. Newton days, back when he cut back down to popcorn and Pepsi. So we got a full meal, but it might be your last, so enjoy. And then for those that are sticking around to play golf this afternoon, we've got a beautiful day here in the Bluegrass. We'll tee off at 1 o'clock. So thanks everybody for coming, and we'll see you here next month. What's up, guys? Thank you very much.
Yeah, buddy.
This is awesome.
Thank you.
That was great. That was great. That was great. Absolutely.
Josh, hey, I want to get you on the show the week of maybe not.